What's going on, family and friends? Once again, you are here inside the music, the truth about the truth. I am your host, your big homie, TC Storm Caldwell, and I am here with the best from the West, KC Cousins, and Mr. Vegas himself, Don DC DaCosta. And you are in for a wonderful and special show this week because we have a very special guest from the soul generation, Mr. Cliff Perkins.
What's happening, Cliff? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Hanging in there, staying cool, with all this hot weather, but everything is all right on this end, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Don has told me a great deal about you, and I'm hip to you myself, but Don has told me a great deal about you. I see your walls back there got all kind of like decorations and stuff on them.
Yeah, that's stuff I acquired along the way, this journey, it's a long journey. So I figured since I've been in there so long, I may as well put it up so I can see it every time I walk past and say, yeah, I was there then. But yeah, it's a lot of gold and platinum stuff. I was fortunate and blessed to be able to attain and still trying to attain. We never stop doing this thing. It's in our blood and we got to keep it moving.
Well, Cliff, Soul Generation and you are very well known with the hits that you had, but why don't you tell us, because I know you didn't start with Soul Generation. Tell us who you actually started out with.
Well, I started out with the group, when I put the group together, it was called the Citations in 1970. And we met a gentleman by the name of Doc Bagby, who was a jazz musician. He seen us at a club. We were working in a club in East Orange, New Jersey. And he said, I'd like to get with you guys. So we said, hey, we was ready to get with whoever wanted to get with us. You know what I'm saying, at that time. So we met with Doc and he sat with me. He said, Cliff, that Citation is not happening. We got to get something with some soul in it, I said, okay, what about Generation? He said, yeah, that's good. I said, what about Soul Generation? And that's where Soul Generation was born in 1971. And Doc Bagby wrote some songs for us and he wanted another gentleman to produce it. And he gave me a number, so I called the number. And the number he gave me was Benny King from the Drifters. And Benny King said, yeah, Doc told me about you, come on out to the house in Inglewood at the time. And we used to go out to Benny King's house and we recorded a few things with Benny. And he got a call to go out on tour. And that was the last time I seen Benny. He went out on tour and stayed out on tour. We talked a few times. And I went to his golf tournament a few times, but we never finished up the project. We did 3 songs. One song I remember was called Chicago Woman, but we just never finished it, mastered it. But, I still have the material. I can release it anytime because I was part owner in the material. And that's how Soul Generation started, with that name. Through the years, we were working clubs and doing different hops and stuff with it, as they called the hop back then. We needed some music. We knew we had to record something. So we contacted a friend of ours who we went to school with by the name of Paul Kaiser. And Paul had got with us and said he had a song for us and we would rehearse it. So he was in college at the time and we went to college down Rutgers, New Jersey, Rutgers College in New Jersey. And the song happened to be Body and Soul. So we went to the college to practice this song and then finally was ready to put on tape. So we went into the studio, A&R Studios in New York City. Mm-hmm. That was a big studio where Frank Sinatra and all the big shots recorded. So we went into the studio, I'll never forget it. We went into the studio and look, I knew the song backwards and forwards. I could sing the song in Spanish and do it backwards in German because that's how well I knew the song. So we get into the studio, it's a big room. They had one boom mic in the booth where I was getting ready to sing, and the background was in another room. And I have never been privy to all those musicians before, so it must have been about 35 musicians in the studio. So when Paul cranked up the musicians, they started playing. I was in awe. I mean, I'm 19 years old, whatever it was. I was in awe of the sound and how it was coming through the headphones, and my cue came to sing. I just missed my cue because I was listening to the band. So they stopped it again, and Paul said, "Look, you going to sing or what are you going to do?" And I apologized. I said, "Let's go again." And they cranked it up again, and boom, we went into it and we recorded Body and Soul. We did Body and Soul in one take, and well, 2 takes. One was my fault, but we did it in 2 takes. And from that point, I was a baseball player. I was a Yankee farm system for 2 years. At that time, I was playing baseball, and so I left to go back to camp. And I got a call from Paul, and Paul said, "You know, we got a hit record." I said, "What record? What you talking about?" So he said, "You need to come back and we need to talk." So we sat down and came back, and we talked and did little contracts and all that other stuff. So I went back to playing baseball, and he released a song. It was on Ebony Sounds Records. He had a partner by the name of, what was his name? Harvey Posner was his partner. Harvey owned 51% of the company. So him and Harvey put together this label called Ebony Sounds Records, and I was off playing baseball. I didn't think nothing of it really. And I get a call from Paul, and he says, "Queen's Booking Agency has about $500,000 worth of work for you if you want to go out on the road." So I looked at that 500,000 and divided it into 4, and looked at what I was making playing baseball. So I left my glove on the bench, and I came to Jersey quick. And then we put Soul Generation together. I mean, really put it together, you know, vocally and stage-wise and with the routines. I was a choreographer, and we had another guy named Jeff Burgess who was he would put all the harmonies together. So we really put it together, and we hit the road. And we went out on the road, and Body and Soul became, you know, our first hit. It went gold, it went platinum, and in between that, Paul Kaiser and his partner had a dispute. So his partner sold half of the company to some gangsters in Newark. So I'm sitting home one day, and I get a phone call from these guys. You know, it sounds like real, you know, Don Corleone kind of stuff, you know, on the phone. You know, I'm saying, "What the hell? I don't know nothing about this kind of stuff. You know, what's going on?" So they wanted to meet. So my cousin, who was an attorney, my cousin Bill, he was an attorney at the time. So I called Bill. I said, "Bill, we got a problem. We need to get some business taken care of." So he set up the meeting with the Don Corleone people and Paul and myself, and we all met in his office. And they came in, you know, typical gangster looking, shiny suit, big cigar, and, you know, talking that lingo. So we sat down and talked, and they said they wanted to continue on with us, and we had to get, you know, and we'll continue with Paul too as producer, but Paul didn't want nothing to do with them. And Paul kind of just backed out of the deal. So now we're sitting there without a producer and really not knowing which end was up. So they had a guy they called, and they brought this guy in to take us around New York City to find a producer. We went to a lot of people, and we ran into a guy named Stan Benson. Stan Benson, who produced Utah for the 5 Stair Steps and a lot of other hits. So he liked the group, so he said, let's do this. So we came there with some music, and one of the songs we came with was $1 Million. And he listened to it, he liked it, so he put the music to it, and we recorded $1 Million, and we put it out. In the interim, they didn't really know what they were doing. Those guys were gangsters. They weren't, you know, music people. So they approached me about being part of the company. I didn't know nothing about doing stuff like that, but I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." You know, and all it was me getting in the station wagon, taking all the music down to the one stops at that time down in Washington, Waxy Maxy, and all those different Better, and all those places in New York, and dropping off records. And I would come back. I would go out on a Monday and a Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'd come back to rehearse for the group so we can hit the road on Thursday and Friday and Saturday to do our show. So I was doing double duty, but, you know, the record started taking off. And again, we were fortunate. $1 million went to gold and platinum for us. And I guess the rest was really history, you know, and I became a manager and a owner of a record company and an artist all at the same time for me. And it's been a successful journey. You know, most people just know about Body and Soul and $1 Million. They talk about those 2 songs all the time, but I have 7 other gold records, you know, In Your Way and I Wonder What She's Doing was gold. Praying for a Miracle was gold. So we were fortunate. I had no music background. I have no long drawn out story about being in the church, not that that's a problem, but I just wasn't that kind of guy. I was an athlete and who a lot of people thought I could sing. So, and
let me ask you a question. When you got with Benny, was Benny still with the Drifters, or was he got on his own at that time?
He was on his own at that time.
Okay.
He was doing stuff on his own and doing solo shows and things like that because he had talked about us opening up for him. He just talked the whole sales pitch went down for us. That's why we stayed with him. But when he went out on the road, that was kind of really it.
Because when I knew him, that's what I asked, because my thing was, I asked him, I said, why did you quit the Drifters? And he said, listen, I never quit the Drifters.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you got to be kidding. He said, listen, I wrote a song. We were supposed to rehearse it. When I walked into rehearsal, the manager, who was our manager, told me I was fired.
Wow.
I said, how the hell can they fire you from me? He said, listen, back then, when you sign a contract with these people, record people, managers, he said, we had no idea what the hell was in those contracts, nor did we have the money to go out and hire an attorney to read through it to find out if it was in our best interest. So the bottom line was, he owned the music I was writing and everything else. So basically, he told me I was done. Wow.
I was fortunate. I've always been about the business end of it. Even with baseball and all that stuff. A lot of stuff I didn't get because I was business minded. They just wanted to take what you had and just use you up and then throw you away. I guess like they did Benny. And me being business minded, when I went to my cousin who was an attorney, we worked everything out, and I own all my masters. All the songs we recorded, we own. So,
that in itself is monumental, because like 90% of the individuals that went into the game, all that was stolen, taken, however you want to put it. Even to the fact that like most of the songwriter contracts that individuals signed, they didn't realize it, but they were reoccurring perpetual contracts that were based on conception. So like you had a 5-year songwriting contract and you had a window maybe of 2-3 months in the 4th year that you can get out of the contract. If you don't get out of the contract, it automatically kicks back in,
Yeah. Well, see, with us, it was a little different for us because we weren't relying on the music industry to live and to, this was a fun and games for us. That's what it was. We went into this thing for fun and games and have fun. If someone could hear us and people would start liking us, the girls would like us, and that was cool. That was all right for us. So we were never afraid to say no. If you came with some bogus stuff, we said, we're not doing that. And didn't think nothing about it. When we put the label together, I became part on the label. All the record companies that we went to in the beginning, the CBS and all those major labels, we took body and soul to that. And they turned it down for whatever reason. They gave up some kind of excuse or whatever. And then when we put it out ourselves and it started making noise, because we started in Baltimore. We brought the record to WEBP James Brown's radio station in Baltimore to play the record. A guy named Jim Sears was the program director. And when I walked in the door, I'm a novice. I don't even know if I had the right clothes on at the time. But when I walked in the door and showed him the record, he said, "Let me see the record, son." He could call me son. I said, "Okay, that's cool." So he said he took it in the back and he played it, and he came back out and told the DJ's name was Curtis Anderson at the time. And he told Curtis to play the record. And when he played the record, Curtis do some kind of contest with it. So what Curtis did, Curtis said, "Here's a new record. See if you can guess who this is." And people were calling saying Delphonics, Stylistics, and they were never going to figure out who it was because we were brand new. But it started making noise, and the record started making noise, and then we started getting traction from that that one little play, and Washington picked it up at WWOL, I think it was, Bobby Bennett and all them guys. They picked the record up, and the record just started moving, and we were getting orders to deliver some of the records down there in that area, down in Waxy Maxy, which was the one stop. And but again, you know, we weren't afraid to say no. We didn't care. You can come, you can say what you want to say, but if we're not getting paid or we don't like what's going on, you know, we're not doing nothing. We shut it down. We'll go home. I'll go back to playing baseball. The other guys will go back to doing what they're doing, and we'll keep it moving. So I think that's been our success over the years, that not being afraid to say no, and not getting caught up in hype, you know, and you got to do this show and you got to do that show, and you're not going to get paid for it. We didn't do none of that stuff. I mean, we just look, man, we're going to do a show. This is our price. You know, for the DJs, sometimes it was little things we had to do, you know, which was business. But most of the guys, you know, will come to you and say, you know, we can move your record. We can do this. So you got to do this show here. And I said, man, please. I ain't going for that mess. After we put the record out and Columbia and all them record companies started calling, we were full of piss and vinegar at that time, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
We said later for you. You don't want our record at the time. Now we made a mistake. That was a big mistake for us, because they had the machine to get the record out further, and we could get it out a lot faster. You know, they had street people and all that. I didn't have no street people. I was a street people.
Yeah. Hitting the mom and pops. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had street people and the whole 9 yards to get that stuff out there and get played. The only major situation we ran into, we signed a deal with Art Cass from over at Buddha Records, and we signed for a song we did, "Pray for a Miracle," with a guy named Tony Camillo, and we signed. Cecil Holmes was at the time was instrumental in that. He liked us, and we became friends, and we still are friends. And he brought us over to Buddha Records, introduced Art Cass, and Art Cass signed us, and we put the record out. Matter of fact, we signed the same day Gladys Knight and the Pips signed, because they gave both of us a party in New York City for signing, a signing party, a little signing bonus, and the whole 9 yards. But you know, that was really my entree into really big business. You know what I'm saying? This was a real deal. It had promotion people and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I had to take a step back because I was used to running myself, and they said, "No, you don't have to do that no more. Or you don't have to do that no more. You don't have to do that no more." So I said, "Oh shoot, okay, cool." Well, our success has been, you know, has been great for us. I mean, you know, we didn't struggle. You know, we're out there, we're doing shows. I'm working with all kinds of people who I admire. You know, Temptations and all them folks. We work with everybody around the country. And it was really like, we were like little kids in the candy store, you know.
Well, you were in Jersey.
But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in between.
You were in Jersey. At that time,
yes.
Was Gary Bird still having his summer concerts out at that amusement park?
Gary Bird? No,
Yeah.
Gary, at that time, Gary Bird was at WWRL, I believe.
Yeah, but he used to have summer concerts at an amusement park over in Jersey.
Only amusement park I remember was Palisades Amusement Park, and that was Cousin Brucey. He had all those shows out there. I never worked for Gary Bird at a concert. I don't remember him having concerts. I mean, they had little hops and stuff and clubs and stuff, because we did stuff for Vaughn Harper and people.
Vaughn was the one I was talking about that lived over there in Voorhees.
Oh, okay, yeah, Voorhees Avenue, yeah.
because he used to play for Boys High School.
Yeah, Vaughn was my guy, and you know, and we did stuff for him. We did stuff for Frankie Crocker and all the people who we thought could move us to the next level and those kind of things. But we made the decisions to do it. We weren't forced upon, and they couldn't manhandle us, strong arm us, you know, to do stuff. We would say, "Hey, I quit." I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, we were kids, and we didn't know about losing anything because we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I think you worry about losing it when you get it. And then you want to hold on to it. So you do things that you really shouldn't do to hold on to it.
And you weren't doing it for the girls.
That's the way it was for Soul Generation. That's still the way with Soul Generation. I mean, I I don't do like the show here. I mean, I get a lot of calls to do different shows like this, and I don't take them because some of them I think are, you know, bogus and a waste of time. You know, where they got two people listening. You know.
Well, you did the one for PBS over
but-
in Jersey, right?
Yeah, we did the PBS thing, which was
With the Iceman.
that's like a little ripoff too. That PBS stuff. No, you know, everybody goes on there. I mean, I don't know what everybody's deal is, but you know, the money is really silly. You know, but you're on television, you know, so you just try to take advantage of it and get the most mileage you can out of it.
So Cliff, you got any new music you're working on? Anything new?
Well, you know, we did this CD called Ooh Baby, and that was a year and a half ago. And the only reason I did it because I wrote the song and I liked the song, and once we got in and did Ooh Baby, then we figured we put some more songs. We were going to do a small, you know, 4 songs, and then we decided we just kept going in the studio because we weren't working at the time. So we and myself wrote that song. Gary is
Got a little bit of that technology deal going. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pop away for a minute and we're gonna come back and we're gonna listen to which song is that, Don?
We're gonna do his song by the name of Body and Soul.
Well, you wasn't supposed to do the whole thing. TC, you want to take that away and do it with the golden voice thing, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, when we return from this break, you will hear Body and Soul by Soul Generation with Cliff Perkins right here on Inside the Music.
Just got to understand, you're no longer dating a boy. You've got a man on your hands. Don't let away your fear. Come to me, my dear.
All right, mine. Okay, so check this out. You say that was done how long ago?
That was done in 1972. That's when Body and Soul came out and was released in 72.
Good song lasts
Wow.
forever. You know, good song lasts forever. That's what you
Wow.
know. Some songs last for a weekend. Good songs last forever.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's played around the country like it's in rotation in a lot of places. I mean, I hear it now. It's funny. I mean, you never get tired of hearing your stuff. I don't care who you are and how big the record is. You always like to hear your stuff. But I was in ShopRite, you know, down aisle 17, getting my little groceries and stuff, and Body and Soul came on. They were playing it at ShopRite. And I looked around, you know, you look around, you want to tell somebody, hey, that's me. But I said, ain't nobody gonna believe that. So I just went down to aisle 17 and continued on getting my bread and my grits and kept it moving.
Yeah.
But I hear the song in a lot of stores. And Home Depot, they're playing the stuff, and $1 Million, they're playing the stuff, and it's just a great feeling if you can do something that has staying power. I mean, it really has staying power. At 72, that was recorded. And what is this?
2021, man.
2021. You know, that's a lot of years. You know.
Yeah. That's a good feeling. The other day, my son gave me a call. He was somewhere, and he holds up this album cover. He goes, "Hey, you remember this? You know, it was an album I did with a group called Baby Brother Band back in '81. You know."
Okay.
Yeah, one of those thrift store finds. You know.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I mean, you know, we're grown man, but you know, you still have that feeling, and you still have that. I mean, I'm still on the road, not because I have to be financially, because I just have fun. It's good. We enjoy it. I mean, we got paid for what we did, and we invested wisely. I mean, when I went to my cousin to a quick story, we were at the Apollo Theater, and I'm on stage doing my show, doing probably Body and Soul, and I had $5,000 in my pocket. And it just hit me. I said, man, you can't do this. You can't be hitting the stage with this kind of money and all this kind of stuff. So I called my cousin. I said, Bill, we got to do something. He said, come in. So I went in when we finished the dates at Apollo. I came in and we sat down and set up business. We set up incorporated Soul Generation. We set it up so we pay taxes on the money. We pay unemployment insurance on the money. We set up a retirement plan. We set up a medical plan. So to this day, we have all that stuff in place.
Yeah.
And we were giving out checks every week to the group members, even when we worked or we didn't work. When we didn't work, we go to the unemployment office and collect unemployment because we were set up like a business. And we
a lot of cats didn't do that. A lot of cats didn't do that, man. A lot of cats would that money like it was water, man.
Yeah.
Well, Cliff.
Yeah, well, you never think it's going to end. I mean, you know, that's what it is. You don't think it's going to stop. You just keep bouncing, and then all of a sudden, boom, it stops. When disco came in, everybody really realized it stopped.
But you always
all the
think
ideas, you know, we weren't working nowhere.
Yeah, you always think it's going to keep on coming in.
Yeah, you always think. But we were fortunate because we own publishing and production and all that stuff. We still got paid over the lean years because they had to pay us when they played it. You know, so it wasn't till this day, every quarter, I got checks coming in here into the house and from my efforts in 1972 on, you know. So
royalty checks.
And yeah, man. Yeah, they're nice. It's nice to see them things. You know, they come and they come because people are playing it. People are still buying this stuff. You know, when we recorded Ooh Baby and we did Ooh Baby in the show, and everybody was actually, when are you gonna sing the old stuff? And we were like 3 songs into our new CD. They want to hear Body and Soul and $1 Million. And I wonder what she's doing. That's damn. So I'm not gonna record no more songs. I'm not gonna record no more music. I'm just gonna try this Ooh Baby out and just do our show, and that's all it's gonna be, because one, I can't get airplay. That's not there for us, you know, and so it makes no sense to do it. I mean, you know, you can get it played on internet radio, but you don't know. You're giving records out to everybody. You don't know what kind of following they have, and so I mean, for me, you know, I can live the rest of my life off what I've done. And the same thing with a lot of groups Temptations. I mean, they never have to record another record. Nobody want to hear nothing new. They want to hear the My Girls and what you do the things you do and all those kind of things. They gonna work for life. I mean, you see it now. I mean, the kids coming into the group and they're working off their father's work, you know. So
Yeah.
You know, Jackie Wilson's son. I mean, he's out there doing stuff. You know, he didn't record that one record, but he's sliding across the stage on Jackie Wilson, higher and higher, and all the stuff that Jackie did. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not complaining about that. I think it's a great thing to see Black people be able to capitalize on that and do that and make a living and make some money. Because this thing is all about money, man. It ain't about nothing else. All the stardom and all that old stuff, man. You forget about the stars, the ones that died, and you know, look how great Teddy Pendergrass was. You don't even hear his name no more.
Yeah.
It's not even a conversation.
Yeah.
You know. And that guy was, whew, he was a monster. Teddy was a monster. But, you know, there were a lot of monsters earlier than Teddy. I mean, you know, the Nat King Coles of the world. You know, I heard something about Nat King Cole the other day. I think he's one of the best singers in the world.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, who sang on key all the time.
All the time. All the time. All the time.
All the time. On
Perfect,
key.
perfect diction.
Yeah.
Perfect enunciation.
You know, yeah, I mean his live shows. I get on this computer and I watch some of his live stuff, and you know, there's no mistakes.
And he was a hell of a keyboardist, pianist also.
I got news for you.
Oh
about
man,
that.
me.
I got news for you. Nat King Cole and Oscar Peterson sounded alike singing, and they made a contract between them. Nat
sang and Oscar played.
That's right. And that was the thing.
Yeah, because Nat King Cole was a hell of a keyboard
Oscar
player.
told him, you don't play the piano and I don't sing. I know because my sister sang when
Man, the guy could sing, man.
And to tell you the truth,
I listened to him. I listened to him. Wow, I didn't know that. Somebody know.
Yeah, I had heard that story a long time ago.
Couldn't tell the difference between them. If you sent them into a room and you told Oscar Peterson, go ahead and sing, he'd sing and you said, that's Nat King Cole. What are you, stupid? I know what he sounds like. And it wasn't Nat King Cole. It was Oscar Peterson.
Yeah.
I tell you another artist.
You know, there were a lot of
what's my boy's name? Greg Philligaines. Played keyboards behind Stevie Wonder for years. If you ever heard Greg Philligaines sing,
Greg played behind the whispers too, right?
Yeah, that boy sound like Stevie Wonder, man. He sounds just like Stevie Wonder. He put out an album, and it was a really great album, but it didn't do what it was supposed to do because everybody thought it was, but it wasn't. You know, one of those situations.
Well, there are a lot of people in this business.
That's what happens, man.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in this business that sound like other people.
Yeah.
And some of them do not become. I tell you, there was a guy, and I know him well because my sister used to date him, and his name was Adam Wade. And when Adam Wade came out,
I know Adam.
Okay, everybody disliked Adam because they thought he was trying to be another Johnny Mathis. It just happened to be.
Adam texted me the other day.
Yeah, my little brother that just passed away, Gil Saunders. Gil Saunders took Teddy Pendergrass's place with the Blue Notes. Everybody gave him hell. Oh, you trying to sound like Teddy. He wasn't trying to sound like Teddy. That's just the way he sounded. Yeah. And him and Teddy were very close. They called each other brothers and they wished the best for each other.
Yeah, but see, what people don't realize is that's what the record company wanted them to do. All right? You coming behind Teddy, they want you to sound like
that sounds just like him.
They want to continue on with that legacy and to still sell them records. The record company has a different motive. Yeah. You know, and that's just the way it goes. You know, but there are a lot of, you know, raise it up a little bit, the Flamingos. I mean, I listen to them religiously for harmony structures and how they did stuff. Man, them cats, it was terrible, man. They just was so mean. You listen to them singing and all the stuff they did, Tommy Hunt and all them cats. Them cats could go, they could put it together. And I listen to them all the time.
I thought it was the best record that I've ever heard. And when I worked for record companies, my statement to artists always was, do me a favor. Every record you ever make on an album is supposed to be your next hit, your next gold record. Because I had artists telling me, well, all they want is 1 or 2 good songs. The rest of it they just want is fillers. And the bottom line was, when you played the Flamingo song where they did I Only Have Eyes for You, The Breeze and I, Music Maestro Please. I took that song to school for music appreciation. And the teacher said to me, which song do you like the best? And I said to her, whichever one is playing. Because the minute you put that song on by the Flamingo, that's my favorite song. When it hits the next track, that's my favorite song.
Man, it was unbelievable. All those songs, man. Like, I mean, just laid out, man. As a vocalist, you got to appreciate it. I mean, I did. I mean, I still listen to them. And I seen a clip of them I seen it about a year ago, of them doing a song called Jump Jive. That's for dance. You know, you hear them singing, you know, you think it's pretty stuff and all kind of stuff. But I mean, they was doing splits and all that, like Little Anthony Imperials, man. I said, look at this, man. I said, I can't do that when I was 19. Yeah, they're just awesome, man. So, I mean, you just got to follow people who are good entertainers and good singers and try to grab what you can grab. I steal a lot. You know, I've stole a lot in my going to class.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. That's how you learn. Study the best.
Yeah, so I watched all of them cats, Temptations, all of them guys, and just, man, oh man, when I can be like that, I'll be all right, you know. So
listen, they put the work in. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
they put the work in.
Yeah, you have to. It's not gonna come in on stage, that's for sure. That's what I tell my son with the kid, you know. I said, look, I said, some of these kids, some of them have good vocal ability that's not used properly, but they think a stage show is taking your shirt off and showing your six-pack. That's what they think a stage show is. You know, and I tell them, I said, look, I tried to learn as much as I could vocally, because when I take my shirt off, ain't no six-pack. It's the box the six-pack came in. So I'm going to put my shirt back on real quick. And I have to get to singing. So, you know, you have to be able to do it and do it both ways, you know. And you know, we just been blessed, man. I mean, we got a chance to work with guys like Charlie Atkins, you know, choreographer, and just, you know, vocally we ran into a few people that helped us vocally with harmonies. We love to sing 4-part harmony. And I followed a lot of the Four Tops. You know, the records they made were one thing, but what they did before they made the records was astronomical. The way they laid out the harmonies, singing Matchmaker and those kind of songs. I mean, those guys, it was awesome. Just sitting there listening to who's doing what. You know, who's moving, who did that? Who did that? You know, who moved that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the weed,
you know,
the vocal.
Yeah. How do you find that space? You know, doing those major 7th chords and stuff like that. You know, and being able to sing them, and to be able to hear them and sing them. That's the gift. That's really the gift.
So Cliff, if you I know the game has changed like completely since we were doing what we were doing, but if you were to give some advice to some young cats, what would it be?
First thing I would tell them, I mean, if you're gonna be in the music business, if you're a writer or a singer or whatever you're gonna be, get your paperwork together, get your business together before you hit the stage. Get all your business together. If you're a songwriter, publish that stuff. Have your company set up. Do all of that, because that stuff now is your future. Everything they do now is your future. It ain't now. It's now is for your future times. So you can take care of your family, and you're gonna get paid, and you're gonna get your just due, and you won't be sucking wind and doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, because you're going to be financially fit to be able to say no. So I would advise him to get the paperwork together, get with a lawyer, and get things laid out. And it might be premature to them. They might say, well, we don't need that. You do need it now because you never know when it's going to happen for you. And then when it happens for you, you get distracted. And then all the hoopla and doing the stage stuff and all the girls and all of this and all the diamonds and all the cars. And
yeah, it's
all that stuff.
distractions.
Yeah, and then you look around and it slows up and stops. The girls is gone. The diamonds weren't real diamonds. They were cubic zirconias. And the cars weren't in your name. You know, I've seen it happen to so many groups and so many guys, you know, and I just have to smile that, you know, it.
Yeah,
Hey.
I got a story, you know, but that'll be on another episode.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, that's what I would tell them. Get your business together. Get all the business. Get a management company. Get a production company. Get a booking agency. Tie it all in. I have all of them. I got production. I got management. I got label. I got publishing company. You know, and I just have it all.
back in the day when the independent record labels really first started kicking off, that was considered a conflict of interest for an individual to have the record label, publishing, management, because it's like, who's going to fight for the artist's rights? You know what I'm saying? But as things change, that's where it's gone, because all those things that we used to hand over to somebody else so that they could fight for our rights, those were all the things that we were actually going to get paid on that we got ripped off for.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I mean, back again, that goes back to me with not being afraid to say no. I mean, we just wouldn't sign. We would say, hey, well, you know, you just don't want us. That's fine, and walk out the door. Walk out the door, let the door hit us in the butt, and keep it moving, and look for somebody else who will give us. If we went to the next person, they gave us 50%. Well, I always felt we can get 75, and when I got 75, I believe I get 100%. Listen, I spent the time sitting in there writing this stuff and putting it all together and putting my time in there to go there to sign the contract with a guy who can't have his foot and chew gum, and he's going to own my stuff. It ain't gonna work. I'll never feel right as an artist. I'll never be able to hit the stage and feel good on stage knowing that everything I'm doing right now, it doesn't even belong to me.
Don't belong to you at all.
It belongs to somebody else.
Like I said, you know, one of the most dangerous things was that songwriter's contract. Most songwriter contract. Most groups back in the day used to do a 1-4-1.
Right.
4-year contract with the option, but it's actually only a 1 year contract that they can drop you after the first year.
Sure, they
right.
can.
Okay, now at the same time that they give you the 1-4-1, they give you a 5-year songwriting contract that goes along with that 1-4-1. Okay, the only difference is the songwriting contract never ends.
No, it don't end.
It's reoccurring. If you don't, I mean, like I was with a company, it was actually a period of like the 4th year, the 9th month, a 2-week window that you had to submit a piece of paper saying that you wanted out of the deal, or the deal went back in effect at that time for the next 5 years. You know? And so I know some cats that are still under record contracts, man. They've been under record contract for 25 years. They quit even trying to write anything. Never even tried to get out.
Well, that's about getting somebody to read them for you. I mean, as an artist, you don't read the contract. I mean, you look at it, you hit page 1 and paragraph 2, and then you're done. You happy, you got a contract. Exactly. And you think that's the best thing since sliced bread.
Right.
You got to get somebody to read
that. Somebody wants you.
Exactly. You got to get somebody to read that stuff. If it costs you money to get a lawyer to read it, that's what you got to pay, man. If you don't have the money right away, then wait until you get the money.
After I went through that contract situation, I ran into that. What was his name? Sheldon something. He wrote that book, This Business of Music.
Yeah.
That used to be considered the Bible. Man, I put that book beside the bathroom. Every time I went in there, I read that book to the point where I could challenge 80% of the lawyers that were out there, you know, because I took a burn, you know, but I was able to get out of it because I paid attention, You
But
know.
look, I mean, look, you say you took a burn, but look what you lost, man. Look what you lost over the years because of that. Now, I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh
everybody
yeah.
makes mistakes. Everybody gets caught up in the hoopla and all that kind of stuff. And I I'm just with a different kind of guy, man. I tell you no in a minute. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing that. I don't feel that. I'm not doing it. I don't care. So I stopped singing. Who cares?
You had that baseball stick in your hand.
Yeah, I can still play baseball. You know, I might not be on the level I want to be at the time, but you know, it's just crazy. I mean, you know, people even talk about baseball players now. Look at them. Look at them. They're too greedy. They ain't greedy. They're trying to get paid because they don't know if they're gonna be on the field next week.
Yeah.
You know, Bobby Bonilla. Look at Bobby Bo. Bobby Bo gets $1 million July 7th every year until 2023 or whatever it is.
Yep.
He ain't play. When the last time you seen him play baseball? 10 years ago?
He don't need to.
He don't need to,
He got
right?
the Mets damn near paying him for the rest of his life.
$1 million a year hits his bank account, and he don't have to do nothing. All he got to do is wake up.
He
You know,
didn't
so
even,
I mean,
he don't have
business.
to go to the bank to cash it.
No, he ain't got to go to the bank. The bank will call him. $1 million.
Direct deposit.
You know, so I mean, that's taking care of your business, man. That's the way you do it. You know, so if you don't never write, you know, another song, if you got paid for the song that you did write, it won't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter. They can't not pay me for what I did. They have to pay me. Even with the sampling. You know, our stuff gets sampled all the time. Just had a kid, Wu-Tang Clan sampled Body and Soul. Now with the sampling, there's no set amount that you're gonna ask for. You can ask for whatever you can get.
Yeah.
There's no structure on sampling fees. So when Wu-Tang Clan called me and said, look, man, we want to sample Body and Soul. I said, cool, well, what are you gonna do with it? And they told me, I said, all right, cool. So the guy said, look, we got $5,000 for you. I said, well, maybe you better sample somebody else. You know, my deal with them was $27,000. After we finished talking and negotiating, I knew I could get it. They had it. 27.5 to be exact, plus a royalty on the song.
You know for a fact when they want to sample your music, they always looking to do it for the least amount of money.
Yeah, they don't want to pay at all. I don't get sample your song, don't even let you know.
And they're spending more than that in the club buying champagne.
I love it when they don't let me know. Because when I find it, that's their ass.
Oh yeah, that's when you really get paid.
Oh my goodness.
Well, man, it's been great running and hollering with you, man. It's about time for us to wrap it up and get out of here for the day. This week we done. But
it was my pleasure.
Cliff, we really appreciate you coming on the show, man. There's so much knowledge. Matter of fact, we want to get you to come back, spend some more time with us, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of more stuff, man. A lot of more.
I know you do. I know you do.
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
So as usual, what I'm gonna do at this time, I'm gonna hand it back over to my man TC Caldwell. Stormy Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all them other days.
Yeah, he's been awful quiet today.
What's going on, family? And once again, this was Inside the Music. We'd like to thank our special guest for this episode. We had the wonderful Cliff Perkins. The brother dropped a whole lot of knowledge, a lot of good information for y'all new artists. He did my heart wonderful by being a young artist that had other talents. And apparently the record labels knew not to play with him because he could swing a bat, if you know what I'm saying. So I hope y'all was paying attention because I've been saying this for my entire existence on social media and in my time in the record business. Learn the business first. I got into the game for the business. I never got into the business for the game. Therefore, I wasn't able to have things done that shouldn't have been done. I didn't have to take certain losses because I knew what to go in owning and learning how to say no. I made money performing and being independent as opposed to signing a devil deal or a 141 or any kind of deal that takes away from the talent and the artistry that we see from the folks coming in there. So For this week's episode, we'd like to thank you. Our sponsors, of course, are always MovemRadio.com, Studio 204, 176 Source 3 Entertainment, and of course, Storm E. Weathers Entertainment. And from the West Coast out there on the Las Vegas Strip, right here to Hip Hop Boulevard, you see your big homie. We'd like to thank you for joining us. And once again, you were inside the music, the truth.
Hey,
truth.
Before we go, there's something I wanted to mention. I almost forgot. The DJ, Big Boy, Cat, DJ Khaled. Both these cats are getting stars on the Walk of Fame. I wanted to bring that up. Big shout out to both of y'all, man. Props on the star on the Walk of Fame. Other than that, like TC said, peace and all that other good stuff. We out of here, baby. Thanks, Cliff.
My pleasure.